Hi there, welcome back to this series of record reviews with me, JVT. Episode 16, I think. Second out in our new studio out in Westchester County, New York. Been a while since we spoke last. A few shows we've seen. Last week we saw the Jayhawks out at Tarrytown up here in Westchester. It's a great band from Minnesota, St. Paul. Been a fan since the early 90s, since the Hollywood Town Hall record. My old mate put me onto it in Gaslight Records in Melbourne way back when. It was a great record store. No longer with us, unfortunately, like so many of them. First record. This is the latest from a great musician. Which way are we pointing at? This way. See, it's been a while. Ryan Adams from North Carolina, Jacksonville. Spends most of his time in Los Angeles these days. Great singer-songwriter. Prisoner on his own label, Pax AM. I think that's how you pronounce it. He has a studio in Los Angeles, just off Sunset Boulevard there, where he does a lot of his work. Prisoner. What else we got? Do You Still Love Me is the great opener to this record. Great rocker. He comes from a bit of a metal background, punk metal, more metal, hard rock background. But he writes a great melody, slow song, whatever. And this is I think this has been a pretty successful record for him already. We're going to see him at the Beacon Theatre next week in the city, so that should be good. Ryan Adams, Prisoner. We're in London a few weeks back. We were there for the launch of John Lydon's new coffee table style book, Mr. Rotten's Songbook. It's got all the lyrics and thoughts and artwork that John's worked on over years on every record he's ever put out, including Pills, Pistols, Left Field, all that sort of stuff up until now. I took delivery of it yesterday, which is great. We saw him at the launch in Hackney at the Oslo, a place called the Oslo in Hackney, so he was in good form. Once they made him concentrate and answer all the questions, it was pretty funny. Him and his great mate John Rambo Stevens, he was there. Rambo's been sort of the glue that's kept Pill and John all together over the last 10-15 years, which is great because his band now is probably the best it's ever sounded. Got some great musicians playing. The last two records have been really good. While we were in London, we were at the Spitalfields Market, which is in the east end of London, near the city part of London. And on Saturdays, they tend to have these independent record companies come in and sell the records. This record company is called Tapiti Records, don't know, whatever. But the great Robert Forster from Australia, from Brisbane, the lead singer and writer from a great band, the Go-Betweens, has a solo album out full of classic Robert Forster lyrics, in the mould of Morrissey in a way, funny, beautiful at the same time, great music. Robert Forster, Songs to Play. Go and have a listen to that, it's pretty good. Now these next two records are come under the category of Run, Don't Walk and Buy These Records. This is St. Paul and the Broken Bones. This album from 2014, Half the City. They're a band from Birmingham, Alabama. Southern soul sound blended with a bit of rock, funk, and the fantastic vocals of Paul Janeway. He and his mate Jesse Phillips on the bass formed this band in 2012. I saw him on a TV show they had doing a club gig, and I was just blown away. So I just ran out and bought these records. I'd actually heard Paul speak to the great comedian Dean Del Rey on his podcast Let There Be Talk previously, but hadn't sort of realised until I saw them on this special, and unbelievable. Half the City, 2014, and last year's album Sea of Noise, which is unbelievable. A song called Brain Matter is my favourite on that. Just powerful vocals, super cool music. Get a chance to see him. Run, don't walk, as they say, again. But yeah, go out and buy these records, Half the City and Sea of Noise by St. Paul and the Broken Bones. You won't regret it. Last one is a record by Hollie Cook, who's a reggae artist from London, called Twice. This is from 2014. Hollie's got a few other records out too, but she was in the last lineup of the Slits, the great punk band, all-girl punk band, before they split up, and unfortunate death of Ariana Forster, Ariap. So she's now a reggae roots pop artist. Her dad was the drummer of the Sex Pistols, Paul Cook. Mum Jenny was a singer herself. She used to do vocals with Culture Club and etc. Lots of different bands like that. Twice by Hollie Cook, great record. She's got a few others there to go and listen to out, but that's good fun, that record. Twice. Listen to it more than twice. Podcasts. If you're an Aussie Rules football fan, Titus and Sergio's Variety Hour is a good one. Titus O'Reilly and Sergio Paradise are a couple of comedians from Melbourne. Both Demons fans, but we won't hold that against them. They rattle on a couple of times a week. I think they usually put out 2 podcasts a week where they go on about mostly footy, but other issues in sport and stuff, and hilarity ensues. So yeah, Titus and Sergio's Variety Hour, worth a listen. Another one called Quickly Kevin, Will he score? There's a famous piece of commentary where Kevin Keegan was asked just before a penalty was taken, quickly Kevin, will he score? And Kevin Keegan said yes, and the guy, of course, went along and missed the penalty. But these guys, comedian Josh Widdicombe and his mates, talk mostly about 90s football. They're based in London. Usually have a guy from that era, a player or a supporter from that era, and it's really funny stuff. So Quickly Kevin, Will he score is a good one if you're a fan of the Premier League of that era, or just comedy in general. These guys are pretty funny. And of course, another one I've been listening to for more than 10 years now is Jonesy's Jukebox with Steve Jones, the legendary guitarist from the Sex Pistols, the Professionals. Yeah, he was, when I first listened to him, he was on Indie 103.1 in Los Angeles, then he moved to K-Rock, and now he's with KLOS, which is, I think, more of a hard rock-based radio station in Los Angeles, KLOS. And yeah, he plays all his show's successful because he plays all the stuff he wants to play. Bowie, he loves Bowie, Roxy Music, Mott the Hoople, Faces, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've bought a lot of records on the back of stuff he's played on this show, and it's well worth a listen. It's funny old fella, Jonesy. And he has some really interesting guests in as well. He had Hollie Cook's dad, Paul, in last week. He was visiting LA, so he had his old mate Cookie in to chat and play records. Sounds like the perfect job, if you ask me. Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS. All that stuff is on Apple iTunes, of course. All that stuff is on Apple iTunes, those records, but go in and physically buy the record. You'd never regret it. On vinyl too, because most vinyl has a digital download these days as well, so you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, so Ryan Adams at the Beacon Theatre next week. We got tickets to see Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers in the summer. We're going to see John Butler Trio. I think that's in the next couple of months down at the Portchester, the Capitol Theatre. So he's a superb guitarist from. He was born in America. He comes from Western Australia. Like Ryan Adams, records on his own label. Cuts out the evil record company middleman. That's about it at the moment. Oh, we saw the Living End, great 3-piece rockabilly punk rock outfit from Melbourne. The Gramercy Theatre, just in our old neighbourhood in New York City. One of the best live bands you'll ever see, The Living End. Chris Cheney and the gang. So if you ever get a chance, run, don't walk, as they say. Go and see The Living End. I think that's about it for now. So until next time, rock on. Bye.